long weeks ago, the Chainsaw Man manga was left on a cliffhanger with dire consequences. Nayuta, the problem child, had returned, and it seemed like certain death for Asa and Yoru, being face to face with humanity's personified fear of control. And just when we thought it couldn't get any worse, Nayuta uses her immense and terrifying power to turn her into a dog? That seems pretty par for the course when it comes to Chainsaw Man pacing. But chapter 120 of Chainsaw Man was an installment with more than just one wild subversion of expectations, and we're going to talk all about what happened in this chapter review video. But first, remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It turns out 75% of the people that watch these videos aren't subscribed to my channel, which is nuts because I'm the only YouTuber that can offer you soft and tender love on Valentine's Day. I love you, bitch. But before we jump straight into what happened in this week's chapter, let's quickly look at what you guys thought about chapter 119. I've linked a poll at the top of the description where you guys can vote on what grade you think this chapter of Chainsaw Man should get: A, B, C, D, and F. And at the beginning of next week's chapter review video, we'll go over the overall chapter GPA as well as some of your guys' comments on this video down below. So over 430 people voted on my last chapter review poll. Thank you guys so much. I think that's like the greatest turnout we've had so far. Hopefully we can make this week even better. And after crunching the numbers, we get an overall chapter GPA of 3.89, which I think is probably the best one we've gotten so far, which makes a lot of sense because Fujimoto was cooking with the last chapter. The new chapter review poll is already live. It already has over 70 votes. So after this video, remember to go check that out. But now on to some of your guys' comments. Goat Luffy 97 says, Denji is showing some serious growth in this chapter. In part 1, he kept his mouth open during a kiss and got barf in it. Then later he kept his mouth open during a kiss and got his tongue bitten off. Now he kept his mouth open during a kiss and nothing bad happened. Oh wait. I feel like whenever Denji finally gets a real kiss in the Chainsaw Man manga, he's gonna be too scared to actually follow through with it. The next comment comes to us from Nuka Bliss. I think Nayuta is very possessive over Denji, seeing him as a big brother figure since he takes care of her and definitely spends time with her. She definitely shouldn't be in love with him because she's a kid, and Denji's almost 18, so that's nasty as fuck. Absolutely, dude. I think Nayuta thinks Denji can hang out with her and only her because he's her older brother and nobody else. And especially after what ended up happening in chapter 120 of Chainsaw Man, I can safely say you're pretty much on it with that one. Thank you guys so much for your comments. Remember to leave your comments down below on this video, and maybe we'll talk about it at the beginning of next week's chapter review video as well. But I think we've been waiting long enough to talk about this wacky chapter, so let's finally jump right in. So aside from the elephant in the room, or I should probably say the dog in the room, today's chapter of Chainsaw Man started with something that a lot of fans have been anticipating for a very long time. We finally got the first dialogue with Nayuta long enough to get an actual glimpse of what her real personality is like. And upon my first read, she seemed like an amalgamation of characters we all know and love from Chainsaw Man. She resembled Power's possessiveness and immaturity when she turned Asa into a dog, but she also resembled Aki's caring and protectiveness when she warns Denji that all women that he's interacted with before now have tried to kill him. And obviously there's the biggest connection with Nayuta's resemblance of Makima, both in physical appearance and in strictness of rule enforcement. But what I liked most about Nayuta's personality after a few rereads, both in English and in Japanese, was that it seemed like she has Makima's hardware with Denji's software. What I mean by that is that Nayuta will always have similar personality quirks to Makima because they're quite literally the same person, but Nayuta is like what Makima would have been if she were raised by a troglodyte like Denji rather than the government or something. And you can kind of see this in Nayuta's behavior, whereas Makima used her overbearing sense of justice to try to eliminate war, famine, and death from existence, Nayuta used her overbearing sense of justice and protectiveness to keep Denji away from Asa. But now I want to circle back to what Nayuta actually did to Asa and Yoru because something absolutely nutty happened that I want everyone watching this video to hear about. Last night during my chapter 120 pre-release live stream, which you all should tune into my live stream sometimes, they're cracked, one of my homies in chat literally called this happening at the last second. It was fucking nuts. I'll show you guys a quick clip of that now and then we'll move on. Quick and random sleep-deprived theory time. Nayuta's change literally turned people into dogs. Asa will become a dog. IDK, I'm cooking meth tonight. I swear to God, Zizu. I swear to God. I swear to fucking God. I could see that happening. Oh my God. And that would explain all the dogs that Denji owns are the hybrids. Holy shit. Zizu, what are you cooking right now? Oh God, he's probably right. Oh, dear Lord. Like, I think he is, I literally think he's an insider, and I think he just spoiled tomorrow's chapter for us. I think that's actually what's gonna happen. God damn it. Moving on from that genuinely scary, clairvoyant moment, I actually wanted to talk about Denji and his appearance in this chapter because there's a lot to unpack here. Denji clearly loves Nayuta, not in the same way that he loved Makima because, first of all, ew, and second of all, because he takes care of her in an almost parental way. Dude's even saving up money to send her to college. Most parents just say, get fucked, take out a loan. But Denji deals with Nayuta's problematic outbursts by trying to talk her down, make compromises with her, make deals with her. I know a lot of people watching this video, myself included, have been wondering about the nature of the power dynamic between Denji and Nayuta in Denji's household. Like, who's really controlling things in that apartment? And I think after reading this chapter, it's become clear to me that Denji is technically still in charge. But he has to deal with the troublemaking child that wields the power of God and anime on her side. So obviously there are going to be some complications with the parenting experience. Now, I want to talk about Asa and Yoru in this chapter as well, but I'd be a fake Chainsaw Man fan if I didn't point out the reappearance of the GOAT of the entire Chainsaw Man universe, Meowie. I was rip shit 2 weeks ago when we had a whole ass chapter in Denji's apartment, but Meowie was nowhere to be seen. But there are 6 other characters in Chainsaw Man that are highly anticipated to reappear in part 2 of the manga. There were 6 devil hybrids at the end of the Chainsaw Man part 1 manga, and there are 6 dogs in Denji and Nayuta's house. We were shown that Nayuta has the power to make Yoru act like a dog, but what if this power was refined even further, where a more powerful control devil like Makima can physically transform people? And when the devil hybrids appeared at the end of Chainsaw Man Part 1, they seemed almost dog-like towards Makima, all competing for her affection. If you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. I actually had this theory in my head back when Chainsaw Man Part 1 was releasing, because there were 6 devil hybrids in the devil hybrid fight, and there were 6 dogs in Makima's apartment. Honestly, this theory itself might deserve its own video, but as of now, it's just a theory, so I don't really have more to say about that. So Denji reluctantly agrees not to get close to Asa anymore, saying that Nayuta is the most important one here. Nayuta alters Asa and Yoru's memories, and they reappear at the school gate, seemingly stood up by Denji. Imagine getting stood up for a date by a guy who wears his own merch. Cringe. Dude, I'd fucking end it all right there. But then Asa goes on a 2011 Rage Comic Forever Alone-esque rant about how she's better off on her own anyway. Obviously trying to convince herself of this, which is pretty pathetic. And Yoru's just standing there like, uh-huh. But then Yoshida shows up, and this guy looks just as shady as ever. Even the composition of this scene set off all my red flags, with Asa seeming small, leaning her head depressedly against the wall, and Yoshida seeming huge and looming over her. It's kind of like that scene in the new Puss in Boots movie when the wolf first appears at the bar. Honestly, Yoshida was probably watching that entire date happen. I go back and forth between loving Yoshida and hating his shady ass. But Yoshida then asks Asa if she'll keep him company, and I didn't like that. Sure, Denji agreed not to get closer to Asa, but Yoshida can't just come in and cuck our boy like that. So when I said I have a love-hate relationship with Yoshida, chapter 120 definitely falls pretty hard under the hate category. That's about all for today's chapter review video. Thankfully, we have another chapter of Chainsaw Man in just 7 short days. So stay happy and healthy, guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Wow, 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 wow.